Before we dive in, a quick but important disclaimer. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and the information shared in this video is not a substitute for professional legal, financial, or career advice. Your success in real estate or any field depends on your own effort, dedication, and circumstances. Always conduct your own thorough research and consult with qualified professionals before making any significant career or financial decisions. The single biggest mistake you can make in your real estate career happens months before you ever talk to your first client. It happens before you choose a brokerage, before you design a business card, and before you even think about your first commission check. The mistake is choosing the wrong online course to get your license. And it's a mistake that costs aspiring agents thousands of dollars and, even worse, their dreams. Picture it, you're scrolling through Instagram and you see it again. Another agent in your town posting a "just sold" sign in front of a beautiful house, smiling. You see the lifestyle, the flexibility, the uncapped income potential, and you think, I can do that. I want to do that. So you open your laptop, you type "online real estate course" into Google, and you're hit with a tidal wave. 100 different schools, all screaming at you with flashy ads. Get your license in 3 weeks. Cheapest course in Texas. 99% pass rate guaranteed. They all look kind of the same. They all promise you the world. So you pick one. It's got a good price, decent reviews. You punch in your credit card number, and for a moment, you feel a jolt of excitement. This is it. The first step. But then you log in, and you're met with a wall of text. A series of 150 boring PDF documents from 1998 and a handful of grainy, monotone videos that could put a toddler to sleep. There's no one to ask questions. The practice quizzes are confusing. You feel overwhelmed, unmotivated, and completely alone. A month later, you haven't even finished the first module, and you start to wonder, did I just get scammed? Did I just throw $500 down the drain? If that scenario sounds like a nightmare, it's because it is. And it's a reality for tens of thousands of people every single year. The online real estate education industry is a minefield. It's filled with outdated puppy mills designed to do one thing: take your money. They don't care if you pass the exam. They certainly don't care if you become a successful agent. They just want your registration fee. But here's the good news. You are not going to be one of those people. Because in this video, I am going to give you the ultimate definitive blueprint for navigating this minefield. We are going to cut through all the marketing fluff, all the fake promises, and all the noise. By the time you're done watching, you will have a rock-solid step-by-step framework to choose the absolute best online real estate course for you. Not for your cousin, not for some random person on a forum, but for your specific learning style, your budget, your schedule, and your career ambitions. How can I be so confident? Because I've been where you are. I've waded through the swamp of online courses. I've spent hundreds of hours researching, comparing, and dissecting the top real estate schools across the United States. I've read the fine print in their terms of service. I've gone through their demo material. I've talked to dozens of recently licensed agents about what they loved and, more importantly, what they hated about their pre-licensing education. I've done all the heavy lifting so you don't have to. We're going to break this down into what I call the 5 pillars of a perfect real estate course. Think of these as the 5 essential checkpoints you absolutely must verify before you ever spend a single dollar. These pillars are: Number 1, state approval and accreditation. This is the non-negotiable foundation. Number 2, learning platform and course quality. This is all about the user experience and whether you'll actually enjoy learning. Number 3, instructor access and student support. This is the human element that can make or break your journey. Number 4, exam prep and pass rates. This is about crossing the finish line and actually passing that state exam. And finally, number 5, career resources and post-licensing support. This is the long game, what happens after you get your license. Today we're starting with the most important pillar of all. The one that, if you get it wrong, makes everything else completely irrelevant. Pillar number 1. State approval and accreditation. Sounds boring and technical, I know. But I promise you, ignoring this is like building a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. Here's the deal. Every single state in the USA has its own real estate commission or board. This government body sets the rules for who can and cannot sell real estate. They dictate the exact number of hours of education you need, the specific topics that must be covered, and which schools are legally authorized to provide that education. If you take a course from a school that is not approved by your state's real estate commission, your certificate of completion is worth less than the paper it's printed on. You will have wasted all of your time, all of your money, and you will not be allowed to even sit for the state licensing exam. It's a dead end. So how do you avoid this catastrophic mistake? It's actually pretty simple. First, you need to identify your state's specific real estate regulatory body. The easiest way to do this is to go to Google and type in your state's name, Real Estate Commission. For example, Florida Real Estate Commission or California Department of Real Estate. This will take you to the official government website. Once you're on that site, you need to look for a link that says something like Approved Education Providers, Real Estate Schools, or Pre-Licensing Course Search. Every state's website is a little different, but they all have a searchable database or a list of schools they have personally vetted and approved. If the online school you're considering is not on that official government list, close the tab. Do not pass go. Do not give them your money. It's a scam, or at the very least, it's not valid for a license in your state. Now, there's a second layer of credibility you can look for, and that's an organization called ARELO. That's ARELO. It stands for the Association of Real Estate License Law Officials. ARELO provides a certification for distance education courses that meet a very high standard for quality and design. Many states actually require online courses to be ARELO certified. Even if your state doesn't, seeing that ARELO seal of approval on a school's website is a massive green flag. It tells you this isn't some fly-by-night operation. It's a school that has invested in meeting a rigorous national standard. Let me give you a critical warning here. Some national real estate schools will run very clever marketing campaigns. They might be officially approved in, say, Texas, but they'll run Facebook ads targeting people in New York. On their website, buried in tiny print, it might say, "Our courses are not currently approved for a New York license." But the main headline screams, "Get your real estate license online." It's deliberately misleading. That is why you can't trust the school's website alone. You must go to your state's official government commission website and verify it for yourself. It's a 5-minute check that can save you $500 and 5 months of heartache. Think of it this way. Choosing a non-accredited course is like hiring a coach to train you for the Olympics, but that coach has never seen the sport you're competing in. You might learn a few things, you might get some exercise, but when it comes time for the official trials, you won't even be allowed in the stadium. Don't let that be you. Start with the official source. Verify the school's approval with your state commission. This is your foundation. It's the boring but essential first step that guarantees you're on the right track. Once you've confirmed a school is 100% legitimate and approved by your state, only then can you move on to the fun part. The part that's all about you. Because now that we know they're allowed to teach you, we need to find out how they teach you. And that brings us to the second crucial pillar. Understanding your personal learning style and matching it with the right course platform. Think about the last time you tried to assemble a piece of furniture using only the instruction manual. Were you the type of person who laid out every single screw and dowel, meticulously reading step 1, then step 2, then step 3? Or did you just glance at the picture on the box, toss the manual aside, and try to figure it out by looking at how the pieces fit together? Maybe you found a video of someone else building it on YouTube and just followed along. There's no right or wrong answer, but your answer reveals everything about how you learn. And ignoring that instinct is the single biggest and most expensive mistake people make when choosing a real estate course. The industry sells you a lie. They sell you on pass rates, on celebrity endorsements, on flashy graphics. They sell you the idea that there is one best course. But the best course for the person who loves reading manuals is a nightmare for the person who needs to watch the video. Let me tell you about two friends, Sarah and Tom. Both incredibly smart, both motivated to crush the real estate exam. Sarah is a classic visual learner. She works in graphic design. She understands concepts when she can see them, when they're mapped out in charts and diagrams. Tom, on the other hand, is an accountant. He lives and breathes text. Give him a dense 500-page textbook on tax law, and he's happy as a clam. He learns by reading, highlighting, and making notes in the margins. They decided to get their licenses together, and on a friend's recommendation, they both signed up for the same popular online course. The course was almost entirely video-based. It had a charismatic instructor, slick animations, and engaging lectures. For Sarah, it was a dream come true. She binge-watched the modules like a Netflix series, the concepts clicking into place one after another. She passed her exam on the first try with a 94%. But for Tom, it was torture. He felt like he was drowning in information he couldn't grasp. He couldn't highlight a video. He couldn't quickly scan a lecture for a key term. He kept pausing, rewinding, trying to transcribe what the instructor was saying, but he just couldn't retain it. He failed his first attempt. He was demoralized, convinced he wasn't cut out for real estate. But he wasn't the problem. The delivery method was the problem. He switched to a different, less exciting course that was basically a giant, well-organized digital textbook with practice quizzes. He devoured it. And he passed his exam with flying colors. The lesson here isn't that one course was good and one was bad. They were both good. But they were built for two completely different types of brains. So before you spend a single dollar, you need to stop asking which course is best and start asking which course is best for me. To do that, you have to diagnose your own learning style. So let's do that right now. First, are you a visual learner like Sarah? When you're trying to understand a complex idea, do you find yourself drawing it out? Do you remember faces better than names? Do you get more out of a documentary than the book it was based on? If you're nodding your head, you thrive on visual input. For you, a course that's just a series of glorified PDFs is a recipe for failure. You need to hunt for platforms that put video front and center. But don't just stop at has video. Look deeper. Is it a dynamic instructor on screen? Or a boring slideshow with a voiceover? Do they use animations, charts, and graphics to explain difficult concepts like amortization schedules or different types of deeds? Do their practice questions provide visual explanations for why an answer is right or wrong? Your keyword is engagement. You need a course that shows you, not just tells you. Now maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you're an auditory learner. Are you the person who can listen to a podcast while driving and remember every detail? Do you prefer someone to explain instructions to you rather than reading them? When you study, do you find yourself reading the text aloud? If this sounds like you, then your ears are your superpower. You have a massive advantage in today's world. You can learn on the go. You should be looking for courses that are not just video-based but have an audio-first design. Ask these questions. Can I download the lessons as MP3 files to listen to in the car or at the gym? Does the platform have a mobile app that lets me listen with the screen off just like a podcast player? Some top-tier courses even offer audio-only review sessions or summaries, specifically designed for people like you. A course that forces you to be glued to a screen, watching visuals that you don't even need, is wasting your most valuable asset, your time. You could be learning during your commute, while doing chores, or during your lunch break. Find the course that lets you do that. Third, are you a reading and writing learner like Tom? If I gave you a choice between a 10-minute video explanation and a 2-page written summary, would you pick the text every single time? Do you make lists? Are you a ferocious note-taker? Is your first instinct to grab a highlighter when you see a textbook? If so, you need substance and structure. The flashy video courses will drive you insane. You need a course that respects the written word. You should be looking for depth in their materials. Do they provide comprehensive, downloadable ebooks or PDF versions of every chapter? This is non-negotiable for you because it allows you to highlight, annotate, and study offline. Look at their glossaries and summaries. Are they detailed and well-organized? Do they offer printable study guides and cheat sheets? For you, the ability to control the pace, to go back and reread a sentence 10 times until it clicks, is paramount. A video just moves on. A book waits for you. Don't let anyone tell you that text-based courses are old-fashioned. For your learning style, they are powerful, efficient, and ruthlessly effective. Finally, let's talk about the most overlooked group, the kinesthetic or interactive learners. Are you someone who learns by doing? Do you hate sitting still? Do you get the most out of a subject when you can actively participate, solve a puzzle, or apply a concept? If you're a kinesthetic learner, passive learning is your kryptonite. Watching videos or reading text is like trying to learn how to swim by reading a book about it. You need to get in the water. For you, the single most important feature of any online course is its interactivity. You need to hunt for platforms that gamify the learning process. Look for features like digital flashcards, matching games, and progress bars that fill up as you complete modules. The most critical element for you, however, is the quality of their practice exams. Don't just ask if they have them. Ask how they work. Do they give you instant feedback on every single question, explaining not just the right answer, but why it's right and why the others are wrong? Do they have adaptive exams that learn your weak spots and drill you on them more often? Even better, look for courses that offer live, interactive elements. Things like weekly live Q&A sessions with instructors where you can actually ask questions, or access to a student forum or Facebook group where you can discuss concepts with peers. You need to be able to roll up your sleeves and wrestle with the material. Find the course that gives you the best digital playground to do that in. Now, here's the secret. Almost nobody is 100% just one of these. You're probably a mix. Maybe you're a visual learner who also needs to take a lot of notes, or an auditory learner who needs interactive quizzes to make sure the information is sticking. This is why the truly elite, world-class online real estate schools don't just pick one lane. They offer a blended approach. They have high-quality video lectures, but they also provide full transcripts and downloadable audio files for every single one. They have an in-depth digital textbook, but they also have interactive games and a massive bank of practice questions. They cater to everyone. They give you the power to learn the way you learn best, on any given day for any given topic. So your mission before you go any further is to take a moment and be honest with yourself. How have you successfully learned things in the past? Write it down. Are you a video person, an audio person, a text person, or a hands-on person? Identify your primary style and then your secondary one. This simple 5-minute act of self-reflection will be more valuable than reading 100 online reviews. Because once you know how you need to be taught, you can filter out 90% of the courses on the market instantly. And that clarity is crucial because we're about to move from how they teach to the absolute core of the issue, what they teach. Because a course can have the best platform in the world, perfectly suited to your learning style. But if its curriculum is outdated, incomplete, or just plain wrong, it's worthless. And in the next part, we're going to uncover the critical questions you must ask about a course's content to ensure it's actually preparing you for the real 2024 exam, not the exam from 5 years ago. So let's start with the first and most non-negotiable question you must ask. How recently was this course material updated? This isn't a trivial detail. It's the bedrock of your entire pre-licensing education. Real estate law is not a static, ancient text. It's a living, breathing thing that changes constantly. Federal regulations around fair housing and lending get updated. State-level statutes about disclosures, agency relationships, and water rights are amended. Even local ordinances can impact what you need to know. Imagine this scenario. You spend 60 hours studying a course that teaches you an outdated rule about property disclosures. You memorize it. You ace the practice quizzes on it. Then you walk into the state exam and you see a question on that exact topic. You confidently select the answer you were taught, feeling great. But you get it wrong. Why? Because the law changed 6 months ago, and your course provider never bothered to update that one little paragraph in Chapter 12. That single point could be the difference between a passing score of 75 and a failing score of 74. All your time, all your effort, all your money wasted. A reputable online course will be proud of its currency. Don't settle for a vague statement like, regularly updated. That means nothing. Look for specifics. Do they have a last updated date on the course material? Do they publish a changelog or send out notifications when significant laws are amended? A top-tier provider will often have a dedicated team of legal experts and real estate professionals whose job it is to monitor legislative changes in all 50 states and update the curriculum in near real time. If you can't easily find when the material was last updated, consider that a massive red flag. You're not buying a history book. You're buying a key to a 2024 career, and it needs to be based on 2024 laws. The second critical question flows directly from this. Does the course explicitly cover both the national and my specific state portion of the exam? This is a trap that ensnares thousands of aspiring agents every year. They see a cheap course online, sign up, and start learning about broad concepts like contract law and property ownership. What they don't realize is that the real estate licensing exam is almost always a two-part test. First, you have the national section, which covers general principles that apply across the country. This will typically be the larger portion of the exam, maybe 80 to 100 questions. But then you have the state section. This part is smaller, maybe 30 to 50 questions, but it is laser-focused on the unique, specific, and often quirky laws of your state. This is where the test gets tough. It's where they ask about things like homestead laws in Florida, community property rules in California, or the specific duties of a licensee as defined by the New York State Department of State. Buying a course that only covers the national portion is like training for a marathon by only running on a treadmill. You might build up your endurance, but you'll be completely unprepared for the hills, the weather, and the specific terrain of the actual race course. A cheap, generic, national-only course is a false economy. You'll save $100 up front, only to find yourself completely lost on a third of the exam questions. You'll then have to scramble to find and pay for a separate state prep course, wasting more time and more money. A great provider will offer a single cohesive package that seamlessly integrates both national and state-specific content. When you're browsing their website, it should be impossible to miss. It should ask for your state up front and guarantee that the curriculum is tailored to your state's specific licensing requirements and exam blueprint. If it's not obvious, they're hiding something. Third, you have to ask a question not just about the information itself, but about how it's delivered. Is the material presented in a way that I can actually absorb and retain? We all learn differently. The idea that you can just read a 600-page PDF and magically be ready to pass a complex legal exam is a fantasy. Yet, that's exactly what some of the bottom-barrel courses offer. It's the academic equivalent of being handed a dictionary and told to learn English. A truly effective online course recognizes that students aren't robots. It caters to multiple learning styles. Are you a visual learner? The course should include high-quality video lessons, animated infographics that break down complex ideas like amortization, and clear diagrams of things like property legal descriptions. Are you an auditory learner? Look for courses that offer audio-only versions of lessons so you can listen and learn during your commute or while you're at the gym. Do you learn by doing? The course absolutely must have interactive elements. This means quizzes at the end of each chapter, digital flashcards, and matching games for vocabulary. This isn't just about making it fun, it's about neuroscience. Actively engaging with the material forces your brain to form stronger neural pathways, moving the information from short-term to long-term memory. So, when you're evaluating a course, look at the samples. Don't just read the marketing copy. Watch a demo video. Is the instructor engaging and clear? Or are they just reading a teleprompter in a monotone voice? Click through a sample chapter. Is it a dense wall of text? Or is it broken up with images, bullet points, and key takeaway boxes? A course that invests in high-quality instructional design is a course that invests in your success. A course that just digitizes a dusty old textbook is a course that is just investing in taking your money. Finally, we arrive at the fourth and perhaps most crucial content-related question. Does the course include powerful, realistic exam prep tools? Everything we've talked about so far, the updated content, the state-specific info, the engaging format, is about learning the material. This final piece is about proving you've learned it. It's the bridge between knowing the concepts and passing the test. Here's the hard truth. You can be an expert on real estate theory and still fail the licensing exam. The exam is a performance. It's a skill. It's about applying knowledge under pressure, managing your time, and navigating tricky, deliberately confusing multiple-choice questions. The only way to get good at this skill is to practice. Therefore, a course without a robust exam prep component is incomplete. And when I say robust, I don't mean a 50-question PDF quiz at the very end. I mean a dedicated, intelligent exam prep engine. First, look at the size of the question bank. A great course will offer thousands of practice questions, not hundreds. This ensures you're not just seeing and memorizing the same questions over and over. Second, look for simulated exams. The platform should allow you to take full-length, timed practice tests that precisely mimic the real thing. It should have the same number of national and state questions, the same time limit, and the same passing score as your actual state exam. Taking these simulated tests over and over again does two things. It builds your mental stamina and it demolishes test anxiety. When you walk into the real testing center, it should feel familiar, like just another practice run. But the most important feature of all is this: detailed answer explanations. A practice test that simply tells you correct or incorrect is almost worthless. The real learning happens in the review. A world-class course will not only tell you the correct answer, but it will provide a detailed paragraph explaining why it's correct, and just as importantly, why the other options are incorrect. This is how you close your knowledge gaps. You might get a question about easements wrong, but in reading the explanation, you finally grasp the difference between an easement in gross and an appurtenant easement. That single explanation could be worth 5 points on the real exam. So you've audited the content. It's up to date, it's comprehensive for your state, it's presented in an engaging way, and the exam prep is killer. The content is solid. But even the best content in the world is useless if the website crashes constantly, if it's impossible to navigate, or if it's designed like a web page from 1998. In the next part, we're going to dissect the platform's technology and user experience, the hidden factors that can make or break your study habits and, ultimately, your success. This is where most people get it wrong. They focus 100% on the content, on the curriculum, on the pass rates, and they completely ignore the digital classroom they'll be living in for the next 3 to 6 months. Think about it. This isn't just a website you visit once. It's your school. It's your library. It's your study hall. And if that place is frustrating to be in, you will find any excuse not to go. A clunky, outdated platform is the silent killer of motivation. It introduces friction, tiny little annoyances that build up over time until you just stop logging in. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the engine under the hood. The first thing you should judge is the dashboard, the homepage you land on after you log in. This is your mission control. Ask yourself, in 3 seconds, can I tell exactly where I left off? Can I see my overall progress at a glance? Is there a clear, unmissable button that says, "Continue my lesson"? A world-class platform presents this information cleanly, intuitively. It makes you feel in control and eager to jump back in. A bad platform, on the other hand, is a chaotic mess. It's a wall of text, a jumble of confusing links, and you spend the first 5 minutes of every study session just trying to figure out where you're supposed to be. That initial confusion is a tiny dose of poison to your focus. It drains your willpower before you've even started learning. Look for progress bars, clear module breakdowns, and a design that feels less like a government tax website and more like a modern streaming service. It should be obvious, simple, and inviting. Next, and this is non-negotiable in today's world, the mobile experience. Do not accept a course that is merely mobile-friendly. That's a low bar. That just means the website won't look completely broken on your phone. What you need is a platform that is mobile-optimized, or even better, has a dedicated mobile app. Why? Because your life doesn't happen in front of a desktop computer. You're going to be studying in line at the grocery store, on your lunch break, on the subway, or while waiting to pick up your kids from soccer practice. These little pockets of time, these 10 or 15-minute microsessions, are what separate the people who finish the course from those who don't. A great mobile platform lets you do everything you can on the desktop version. You can watch videos, take quizzes, review flashcards, and your progress syncs seamlessly across all your devices. The gold standard? The ability to download lessons for offline access. Imagine being able to study on a flight or in an area with spotty cell service. That is a game changer. If a course's mobile experience feels like an afterthought, if you're constantly pinching and zooming and hitting the wrong buttons, it's a massive red flag. They don't understand how modern students actually learn, and that lack of understanding will likely bleed into other areas of the course as well. Now let's talk about how you actually learn. Most of us grew up with a passive model of education. A teacher talks, you listen. But we now know that the most effective way to learn and retain information is through active recall. That means forcing your brain to retrieve information, not just passively absorb it. This is where a platform's technology can either supercharge your learning or leave you stuck in the past. Look for interactive elements built directly into the learning experience. I'm not just talking about a multiple-choice quiz at the end of a 90-minute video. I'm talking about dynamic, engaging tools. Does the platform have digital flashcards? Does it use spaced repetition, an algorithm that shows you difficult concepts more frequently until you master them? Are there interactive exercises that pop up mid-video to make sure you're paying attention and understanding the material? Some of the best platforms even use gamification. They award points, badges, or achievements for completing modules or hitting study streaks. This might sound silly, but these little dopamine hits can be incredibly powerful motivators, turning a tedious study session into a challenge you want to conquer. A course that just gives you a series of videos to watch and a PDF to download is not a course. It's a glorified textbook. You deserve better. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the media itself. Video and audio quality matter more than you think. If you're going to spend 100 hours listening to someone, they need to be clear and easy to understand. Is the audio crisp and professional? Or does it sound like it was recorded in a bathroom with a laptop microphone? Is the instructor well lit and easy to see? Or are they a shadowy figure in a messy spare bedroom? Poor production quality is distracting. It subtly tells your brain that this content isn't important or professional, making it harder for you to focus and trust the information. Beyond just the quality, look for features that give you control. Can you change the playback speed? Some people learn best by slowing things down, while others want to power through review material at 1.5 or 2 times speed. This single feature can save you dozens of hours over the life of the course. Are there high-quality, accurate closed captions? This is crucial not just for accessibility but also for comprehension. Being able to read along can reinforce complex legal terms or financial concepts. These aren't luxury features. They are essential tools for effective, personalized learning. Finally, let's talk about what happens when things go wrong. Because eventually they will. A video won't load. Your quiz score won't save. You'll get locked out of your account. In that moment of panic, the quality of the platform's technical support becomes the most important thing in the world. Before you buy any course, investigate their support system. Is there a phone number you can call? Is there a live chat option? Or is your only recourse an anonymous contact form with the promise to get back to you in 24 to 48 business hours? That's not good enough when you're trying to cram for an exam. A top-tier real estate school invests in its support infrastructure. They have a comprehensive, searchable FAQ or knowledge base, so you can solve common problems yourself. They have responsive, knowledgeable support staff who can fix your issue quickly, so you can get back to studying. The level of support a company offers is a direct reflection of how much they value you as a customer. Don't let it be an afterthought. A great platform with terrible support can be just as frustrating as a terrible platform. So, when you're comparing courses, don't just look at the syllabus. Look at the digital environment. Put it through this checklist. Is the dashboard clean and intuitive? Is the mobile experience seamless and powerful? Does it use interactive tools to promote active learning? Is the media quality high and user-controlled? And is there a robust support system to catch you when you fall? The technology and the user experience aren't just bells and whistles. They are the scaffolding that will support your entire journey. They're the invisible force that will keep you motivated, focused, and on the path to passing your exam. Now, once you've found a platform that is a joy to use, a digital classroom you actually want to spend time in, we have to ask the most important question of all. Who is actually teaching the class? Because the most beautiful, technologically advanced platform on earth is utterly worthless if the instructor is uninspired, inexperienced, or just plain boring. The quality of the information and the person delivering it is the heart and soul of any course. So let's talk about the person behind the curtain, the instructor. Think of it this way: the course platform is the car, but the instructor is the engine and the GPS. You can have the slickest, most aerodynamic Ferrari in the world, but if it has a lawnmower engine and a map from 1985, you're not going anywhere fast. You're paying for a guide, a mentor, a translator of complex legal jargon into plain English. This single factor can be the difference between you passing the exam with confidence and wanting to throw your laptop out the window in frustration. When you're vetting an instructor, I want you to look for a powerful trifecta: real-world experience, proven teaching expertise, and genuine engagement. Let's break that down. First, experience. And I don't just mean they've held a real estate license for a few years. I mean they have been in the trenches. They felt the gut-wrenching pain of a deal falling apart at the last minute over a cracked foundation. They've experienced the pure elation of handing keys to a teary-eyed first-time homebuyer. They've navigated the chaos of a seller's market with 17 competing offers. And they've had to grind it out in a buyer's market where every house sat for months. This is the wisdom you cannot get from a textbook. Look for specifics. How many years have they actively practiced real estate? Not just held a license but worked full-time? Do they mention the number of transactions they've closed? Are they a top producer? Or have they won awards from their brokerage or local association? This isn't about ego, it's about proof. It shows they've achieved a level of success that's worth learning from. A purely academic instructor might be able to define constructive eviction perfectly, but a veteran agent will tell you a story about a tenant, a leaky roof, and a lawsuit that will burn that definition into your brain forever. You're not just learning facts, you're absorbing wisdom. You're learning from their mistakes so you don't have to make them yourself. But here's a critical distinction. A great agent is not automatically a great teacher. That brings us to the second part of the trifecta: expertise in teaching. This is a completely different skill set. I've seen million-dollar agents who are brilliant at negotiating, but couldn't explain the concept of adverse possession if their life depended on it. Teaching is the art of breaking down complexity. It's about empathy, about anticipating where a student will get stuck, and creating analogies and examples that make the light bulb go on. So how do you spot teaching expertise? First, check their credentials. Many states require pre-licensed instructors to have a special certification. Does the school mention this? Have they taught at a community college, a university, or for the National Association of Realtors? This shows they've been vetted by other educational institutions. But the real proof is in the student reviews. Don't just look for great course. Look for comments that specifically praise the instructor's ability to clarify difficult topics. When you see reviews like, "I never understood financing until Maria explained amortization tables," or "John's examples on contract contingencies were a game changer for me," you've struck gold. That's a sign of a true educator, not just a practitioner reading from a PowerPoint. finally, we have the most elusive but arguably most important quality, engagement. This is the X factor. This is the difference between a course you have to force yourself to get through and one you can't wait to start each day. A monotone instructor droning on about property law can make 60 hours feel like a life sentence. An engaging, passionate instructor can make that same material feel like an exciting episode of your favorite show. Do they have energy? Do they sound like they genuinely love real estate? Passion is infectious. It wakes you up and makes you care. Are they a storyteller? The human brain is wired for stories, not for lists of facts. An instructor who says, "Let me tell you about the time I almost lost a commission because of an unpermitted deck," will teach you more about disclosures and due diligence than any textbook chapter ever could. Do they use humor? Do they have a personality? You're going to be spending dozens of hours with this person's voice in your head. It had better be a voice you can stand and ideally one you actually enjoy. The best way to test this? Watch the free sample videos. Every reputable online school will offer a sneak peek. Don't just watch 30 seconds. Watch a full 5-minute lesson. If you find your mind wandering or your eyes glazing over, that is a massive red flag. If, on the other hand, you find yourself leaning in, taking notes, and maybe even chuckling, you found a guide who can carry you to the finish line. Now, once you've vetted the instructor, you need to put the curriculum itself under the microscope. And here's the big secret most schools won't tell you. Every state-accredited course will cover the minimum required topics to pass the exam. That's the low bar. That's just checking the boxes. The best courses don't just prepare you to pass a test. They prepare you to build a career. So, what does a superior career-building curriculum look like? First, it goes beyond the state-mandated theory and dives into practical, real-world application. The state exam is not going to ask you the best way to market a new listing on Instagram. It won't test you on how to host a successful open house that actually generates leads. It won't ask you for the best script to use when talking to a for sale by owner. But your ability to do these things will determine whether you sink or swim in your first year. Look at the course outline. Do you see modules on lead generation, marketing, client communication, business planning, or technology tools? If a course only talks about law and theory, it's giving you a license to fail. It's teaching you how to get a driver's license but not how to actually navigate traffic, read a map, or change a flat tire. Second, a great curriculum is modern and constantly updated. The world of real estate moves at lightning speed. Laws change, contracts are updated, and market trends shift. Is the course content talking about leveraging AI for marketing, virtual staging, or navigating the latest changes in agency disclosure laws? Or are the examples and case studies from 2015? Look for signs of freshness. Does the school blog about current market trends? Do they mention when the course was last updated? A stale curriculum is not only less effective, it can be dangerous, teaching you outdated practices or laws that could get you in hot water. Third, look for the value adds, the supplemental materials. This is where you can see a school's real commitment to your success. Do they provide downloadable worksheets, contract practice guides, checklists for every step of a transaction, or a comprehensive glossary of terms you can study on the go? These resources are the bridge between passive learning and active doing. They are the tools you'll actually use when you're out in the field. A course that just gives you videos and a final exam is leaving you to fend for yourself. A course that arms you with a complete toolkit is setting you up for success from day one. Finally, the best course is integrate exam prep throughout the entire learning process. It's not just an afterthought module tacked on at the end. They'll use exam-style questions in the quizzes for each chapter. The instructor will frequently say things like, "Pay close attention here, this concept is heavily tested," or "The state exam loves to ask tricky questions about this, and here's the trap to avoid." They teach you not just the material but the strategy of passing the test. They understand the nuances of how questions are worded and prepare you for the specific format and psychological pressure of the exam room. When you combine a world-class instructor with a robust, practical, and modern curriculum, something amazing happens. You stop memorizing facts and you start understanding concepts. You stop studying to pass a test and you start learning to build a business. You're not just buying information. You're investing in a mentorship and a roadmap. Choose them as if your entire future career depends on it, because frankly it does. But even with the world's greatest instructor and a rock-solid curriculum, how that information is delivered to you can make or break your success. Is it all text? Is it video? Are there live sessions where you can ask questions? In the next part, we're going to dissect the different learning formats and student support systems to find out which one is scientifically designed to make you learn faster and retain more. So let's dive right into the core of it. We're talking about the engine of your real estate education, the learning format. This isn't just about preference. It's about neuroscience. It's about how your brain is wired to absorb, retain, and apply complex information under pressure, like during a state exam. The difference between a great format and a poor one is the difference between passing with confidence and staring at a fail on your screen, wondering where you went wrong. Let's start with the most common, and often the cheapest format out there, the text-based data dump. You know what I'm talking about. You sign up, and you're given a login to a portal that's essentially a digital library of PDFs. Chapter after chapter of dense, legalistic text. It's the entire real estate textbook just on a screen. The sales page promised a comprehensive, self-paced course. But what you got was a reading assignment the size of a phone book with zero guidance. Here's the brutal, scientific truth about this format. It's actively working against your brain. Human beings are not designed to learn effectively by passively reading hundreds of pages of static text. It leads to a phenomenon called cognitive tunneling. Your eyes scan the words, but your brain isn't encoding the information. You get to the bottom of a page about property liens and realize you have no idea what you just read. Why? Because there's no engagement, no interaction, no anchor to tie the information to. This format is a one-way ticket to activating the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, which shows that you can forget as much as 50% of new information within an hour if you don't actively try to retain it. These PDF-heavy courses are basically expensive forgetting machines. They check a box for the state, but they do a massive disservice to you, the student. Now let's level up to the next tier, the pre-recorded video course. This is a step in the right direction. Feels more modern, more dynamic. You've got an instructor on screen, maybe some slick graphics, and you can watch it on your own time. It's like the Netflix of real estate school. You can binge watch a whole section on contracts in one Saturday afternoon. Sounds great, right? Well, it's better, but it has its own hidden trap. The trap is called passive consumption. Watching a video can feel like learning, but it's often not. Think about it. Have you ever watched a dozen YouTube videos on how to fix a leaky faucet, and then when you actually get under the sink, you feel completely lost? That's the difference between watching and doing. The same thing happens here. You can watch an instructor explain the intricacies of fair housing laws, nod along, and feel like you get it. But because you haven't been forced to actively engage, to ask a question, to solve a problem, to debate a concept, the information remains shallow. It hasn't moved from your short-term memory to your long-term, applicable knowledge base. Binge-watching your real estate course is as effective as binge-watching a workout series and expecting to get in shape. It's entertainment, not education. This brings us to the gold standard, the format that the science of learning overwhelmingly supports. Live interactive instruction. This could be a Livestream class, a webinar, or a virtual classroom. The key ingredient isn't just that it's live, it's that it's interactive. This is where the magic happens. When you are in a live online class with a great instructor, you are not a passive consumer. You are an active participant. The instructor explains a complex idea, like the difference between joint tenancy and tenancy in common. Immediately, a hand goes up in the virtual classroom. Someone asks, but what happens if one of the joint tenants sells their share without the other's permission? That question, and the instructor's answer, instantly clarifies the concept not just for the person who asked, but for everyone in the class. It creates a learning moment that is 100 times more powerful than just reading the definition in a book. Your brain lights up. It forms a stronger neural pathway because it's solving a problem in real time. You're not just memorizing a fact, you're understanding the logic behind it. This is active recall in its purest form. The ability to ask why and get an immediate, expert answer is the single most valuable accelerator for learning. But what if your schedule is insane? What if you're a parent with kids, or you work a 9-to-5 and can't make a live class at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday? This is where the hybrid model comes in, and frankly, it's what you should be looking for. The best online schools in the country have perfected this. They offer live, interactive classes, but they also record every single session. So, you get the best of both worlds. You can attend live when you can to participate and ask questions. But if you miss a class or want to review a difficult topic, you can watch the full, unedited recording later that day. You get the benefit of hearing all the questions your classmates asked, the back and forth, the spontaneous teaching moments that only happen in a live environment. It's a world away from a sterile pre-recorded video that was filmed in a studio 3 years ago. Now, this all ties directly into the second half of our equation, student support. Because the learning format is only half the story. The other half is what happens when you're studying on your own at 11 p.m. and you hit a brick wall. Who can you turn to? The quality of a school's support system is a direct reflection of how much they actually care about your success. Let's break down the tiers of support, from worst to best. At the bottom, you have the email black hole. You have a question, so you send it to a generic support@school.com address. 2 days later, you get a response that's a copy and pasted paragraph from the textbook, completely failing to address the nuance of your question. This is not support. It's a deflection. It's a sign that the school is a volume-based content mill, not an educational institution. A step up from that is the peer-to-peer forum, a dedicated message board or Facebook group where students can ask each other questions. This can be helpful for camaraderie, but it's a dangerous place to get definitive answers. You're relying on other students who are just as new to this as you are. Getting exam prep advice from someone who hasn't even taken the exam yet is the blind leading the blind. It can be a breeding ground for misinformation and anxiety. The absolute, non-negotiable pinnacle of student support is direct instructor access. This is the ultimate litmus test for a quality real estate school. Can you actually talk to the person teaching the material? Do they have live Q&A sessions? Do they have virtual office hours? Can you email an instructor, a licensed, experienced real estate professional, and get a thoughtful, personalized answer within a reasonable time frame, like a few hours? Think about the value of this. You're struggling with real estate math, trying to figure out amortization or capitalization rates. Instead of spinning your wheels for hours in frustration, you can join a live Q&A, share your screen, and have an expert walk you through the problem step by step. That one 10-minute interaction can save you a full day of study and prevent you from embedding an incorrect method in your mind. This is the difference between buying a product and investing in a service. A course with no instructor access is a product. A course with robust, direct instructor access is a coaching program disguised as a school. It's a partnership in your success. So, when you're vetting a school, don't just look at the curriculum. Dig into the delivery method and the support system. Ask these specific questions. What percentage of your pre-licensing hours are delivered via live, interactive instruction versus static text or pre-recorded video? If I have a question about a legal concept at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday, what is my exact path to getting an answer from a qualified instructor? And what is the guaranteed response time? Do your instructors have scheduled, live office hours that I can attend? The answers to these questions will tell you everything you need to know. They separate the schools that just want to sell you a course from the schools that are genuinely invested in making you a successful real estate agent. The format and the support are the infrastructure upon which your entire new career will be built. Choosing a wobbly foundation of PDFs and email black holes is a recipe for failure. Choosing a solid foundation of interactive learning and expert support is the first and most important step to acing your exam and launching a thriving career. And speaking of a thriving career, just passing the test is only the beginning. What happens after you get your license? Does the school just wish you luck and send you on your way? In the next part, we're going to explore the critical and often overlooked factor of post-licensing support and career resources, the stuff that actually helps you make money. Think of your real estate license as a key. It's a shiny, hard-earned key that unlocks a very important door. You spent weeks, maybe months, studying, memorizing laws, and stressing over the exam. You finally pass, they hand you that key, and you walk up to the door of your new career. You put the key in, turn the lock, and the door swings open. But what's on the other side isn't a finished, beautifully staged home ready for you to sell. It's a construction site. There are wires hanging from the ceiling, the foundation is exposed, and there are piles of raw materials everywhere. There are no instructions. The key got you in the door, but it didn't give you the blueprint to build the house. This is the reality for tens of thousands of newly licensed agents every single year. And it's the reason for one of the most terrifying statistics in this industry, a number that schools don't like to put in their marketing brochures. Depending on the study you look at, somewhere between 75 and 87% of all new real estate agents quit within the first 5 years. Most of them quit within the first 2. They get the key, they open the door, they see the chaos of the construction site, and they run. Why? Because passing the test has almost nothing to do with being a successful real estate agent. The exam teaches you how to stay out of jail. It teaches you the laws, the ethics, the rules. It does not teach you how to get a client. It doesn't teach you how to market a property, how to negotiate a tough deal, how to build a referral network, or how to manage your finances as an independent contractor. The school you choose can either be the one that just forges the key and pushes you out the door, or it can be the one that walks through that door with you and hands you the blueprint, the tool belt, and the number for a master builder to call when you get stuck. That is the difference between a simple licensing mill and a true career partner. And sorting out which is one of the most important decisions you'll make. So what does this blueprint and tool belt actually look like? What are the specific career resources and post-licensing support systems you should be demanding from any school you're considering? First, let's talk about job placement assistance. Now, in real estate, job placement is a bit of a misnomer. You're an independent contractor, so you're not getting a W-2 job. What you're looking for is a brokerage to hang your license with. This is your home base. They provide the brand, the legal oversight, the office space, and typically a commission split. A great online school understands that this is your first and most critical decision. They should have a dedicated career services department. Do they host virtual career fairs where you can meet managing brokers from different companies? Do they have partnerships with national brands like Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, or eXp Realty, as well as respected local boutique brokerages? Do they provide resources on how to even compare brokerages? The difference in culture, commission splits, and training between a huge national firm and a small local one is monumental. A school that helps you navigate this choice is worth its weight in gold. A school that doesn't mention it at all is a massive red flag. They're telling you, that's your problem now. Second, and arguably the most valuable resource of all, is mentorship. You will have a million questions in your first year that were not on the exam. How do I fill out this specific addendum? My client wants to offer way below asking price. How do I phrase that without offending the seller's agent? What's the best way to run my first open house? You can't Google the nuanced answers to these questions. You need a person, an experienced, successful agent who has been there. Does the school help facilitate this? Do they have a formal mentorship program that connects you with a veteran agent? Do they have an active alumni network where you can find people in your local market willing to help? Some of the best schools build this right into their premium packages. They understand that a new agent with a mentor is 10 times more likely to succeed than an agent who is trying to figure it all out alone. If a school's website doesn't breathe a word about mentorship or connecting with experienced professionals, they are ignoring the single biggest factor in a new agent's success. Third, look for a pathway to continued learning. Getting your license isn't graduation day. It's the first day of school. The industry is constantly changing. Laws change, technology evolves, and market dynamics shift. A top-tier school won't just offer the bare minimum continuing education, or CE, courses you need to renew your license every couple of years. They'll offer professional development courses and pathways to earn advanced designations. These are like a master's degree for real estate. Designations like ABR, the Accredited Buyer's Representative, or SRS, the Seller Representative Specialist, not only give you incredible skills, but they also give you credibility with clients. They show that you've gone above and beyond. Does the school offer these courses? Do they offer bundles or discounts for their alumni? A school that invests in your ongoing growth is a school that's invested in your long-term career, not just your initial licensing fee. Fourth, dig into the community and networking opportunities. Real estate is a contact sport. Your network is your net worth. It's a cliche because it's true. A school that just gives you a login and a PDF to download is leaving you on an island. The best online schools have built thriving, interactive communities. This could be a private, students-only Facebook group, a dedicated forum on their website, or a Slack channel. This is your first professional network. It's where you can ask dumb questions without feeling dumb. It's where you can celebrate passing the exam with people who know exactly how hard it was. It's where a student in California can ask about a weird escrow issue and get 5 different answers from agents who have dealt with it before. This community is a lifeline, especially in an online environment where you can feel isolated. It transforms the experience from a solo slog into a team effort. Before you buy any course, find out where their students gather. If the answer is nowhere, you're not buying a course, you're just buying a textbook. Finally, look for practical, real-world tools and resources. This is the nitty-gritty stuff. Does the school provide you with business planning templates? Downloadable marketing materials for your first listing? Checklists for client onboarding? Do they host free webinars for alumni on topics like how to dominate with Facebook ads, or lead generation 101? Some schools have partnerships that give you discounts on essential software, like a customer relationship manager or CRM. This is the stuff that bridges the gap between the theory you learned for the test and the practical reality of running your own business. It's the school handing you that tool belt I mentioned earlier. So how do you find all this out? You have to become a detective. Go to the school's website and actively look for a career resources, alumni, or professional development tab. If it's not obvious, that's a bad sign. Read the course descriptions carefully. Do their premium packages include things like career coaching sessions or access to a professional network? Then go read reviews, but with a new filter. Don't just look for people saying, "I passed the test." Look for reviews that say, "The career resources were amazing," or "I found my broker through their virtual career fair," or even, "I'm still active in their alumni group 3 years later." And don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Call their admissions department and ask pointed questions. What specific resources do you offer graduates to help them launch their business? Can you tell me more about your alumni network and mentorship opportunities? Their answer or lack thereof will tell you everything you need to know. Choosing a school based solely on who can get you past the exam is like choosing a climbing guide based on who can get you to the base of Mount Everest. The real challenge, the part that matters, is the ascent. The school that provides the support, the community, the mentorship, and the tools isn't just getting you to the mountain, they're helping you get to the summit. Okay, so you found a school with a killer curriculum, an ironclad pass guarantee, and an entire suite of career resources that would make Tony Robbins jealous. You're ready to sign up, but you click the enroll button, and the website crashes. Or you try to study on your phone, and the text is so small you need a microscope. The best content in the world is useless if the platform delivering it is a nightmare to use. This is the hidden hurdle that trips up so many aspiring agents. You can have the most brilliant instructor and the most comprehensive curriculum, but if it's delivered through a clunky, outdated, and frustrating piece of software, your motivation will evaporate. You're not just buying information, you're buying an experience. And that experience will either fuel your progress or become a constant source of friction, a digital headwind slowing you down every single day. Think about it. The apps on your phone, from your banking app to your favorite social media, are slick, intuitive, and fast. They're designed to be frictionless. Why should the platform that holds the keys to your entire new career be any different? It shouldn't. In fact, it should be better. So, how do you judge the quality of a school's technology before you commit your hard-earned money? You become a digital detective. Your first clue is the website itself. The public-facing website. Is it modern, clean, and fast-loading? Or does it look like a high schooler's web design project from 2005, with weird fonts and broken links? A company that invests in a professional modern website is telling you they care about user experience. It's a powerful signal that they likely invest in their internal learning platform too. A dated, slow website is a massive red flag. It screams, "We don't prioritize technology." And that attitude almost certainly extends to the student portal you'll be trapped in for the next 100 hours. Next, and this is non-negotiable in today's world, mobile compatibility. You are not going to be chained to your desk to study. You're going to be snatching 15 minutes of study time on your lunch break, reviewing flashcards while waiting in line at the grocery store, or listening to an audio lesson while you're driving. Your real estate school needs to live in your pocket. This doesn't just mean the website sort of works on a phone. It means it is designed for mobile. The text should be readable without pinching and zooming. The buttons should be easy to tap. Video should load quickly and play flawlessly. If they have a dedicated mobile app, even better. But you need to test it. Go to their website on your phone right now. Try to navigate. If it's a frustrating mess, walk away. Imagine trying to understand the complexities of escrow law while simultaneously fighting a terrible mobile interface. You're setting yourself up for failure. A great mobile experience isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental requirement for modern learning. Once you get past the front door, you need to look at the learning dashboard itself. This is your mission control, your home base for the entire course. The best schools offer a free trial or a detailed video tour of their platform. Take it. What you're looking for is clarity and intuition. When you log in, is it immediately obvious where to go and what to do next? Is there a clear progress bar that shows you exactly how much of the course you've completed and how much you have left? This is a huge psychological motivator. Seeing that bar creep from 10% to 25% to 70% gives you a tangible sense of accomplishment. A bad dashboard, on the other hand, is a cluttered nightmare. It's a maze of confusing links, no clear starting point, and no way to easily track your progress. Every time you log in, you waste precious mental energy just trying to figure out where you left off. That friction, day after day, is exhausting. It makes studying feel like a chore, not an opportunity. But a great platform is more than just a pretty dashboard. It's about how you interact with the material. Learning is not a passive activity. You can't just read 100 pages of text and expect to retain it. You need to engage with it. The best online courses understand this. They break up the dense legal and financial concepts with interactive elements. I'm talking about things like drag-and-drop exercises, scenario-based questions, and, most importantly, frequent low-stakes quizzes. These aren't for a grade. They're for learning. They force your brain to retrieve the information you just learned, which is scientifically proven to be the most powerful way to lock it into your long-term memory. Reading about different types of deeds is one thing. Being forced to immediately answer a quiz on the difference between a quitclaim deed and a warranty deed is what actually makes it stick. If a course is just a wall of text, a digital textbook, you're not getting a course, you're getting an overpriced ebook. Let's talk about video. Most high-quality courses today use a mix of text and video lectures. But not all video is created equal. I've seen courses where the video is just a PowerPoint slide with a disembodied voice droning on, recorded with a microphone that sounds like it's inside a tin can at the bottom of a well. The audio buzzes, the instructor mumbles, and you can't make it through 5 minutes without your mind wandering. This is unacceptable. Good video production matters. The instructor should be on screen making eye contact and building a connection with you. The audio should be crystal clear. The graphics should be professional and help illustrate complex points. You're going to be spending hours listening to this person. If their presentation quality is poor, your ability to absorb the information will plummet. It's another one of those hidden friction points. Bad audio quality is physically draining to listen to. It creates a subconscious barrier to learning. Finally, there's the simple, brutal reality of reliability. Does the platform actually work? The only way to know this is to dig into the reviews. But don't just read the top-level reviews. Use the search function. Search for terms like crashed, glitch, error, slow, technical support, and outage. You're looking for patterns. One person complaining is an anecdote. 20 people complaining that the site crashed the night before their final exam is a systemic problem. Imagine you've cleared your schedule, you've got your coffee, you're ready for a 2-hour study session, and the website is down. Or the quiz you just spent 30 minutes on won't submit your answers. These aren't minor annoyances. They are catastrophic momentum killers. A reliable platform is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It has to be as dependable as a light switch. Let me tell you about 2 students, we'll call them Alex and Ben. They were equally smart, equally motivated. Alex chose a school because it was the cheapest option he could find. The website was a mess, but he thought, how bad can it be? I'm just here for the information. It was bad. The platform was slow, the mobile version was unusable, and videos would buffer endlessly. Every study session started with 5 minutes of frustration just trying to get the page to load. He fell behind, his motivation cratered, and he ended up failing his exam. Ben, on the other hand, paid about $100 more for a school with a phenomenal reputation for its user experience. The moment he logged in, his entire course was laid out for him. His progress was clearly tracked. He could switch seamlessly from his laptop to his phone, picking up a quiz on his phone right where he left off on his computer. The interactive exercises kept him engaged. Studying felt less like a chore and more like a game. The technology wasn't a barrier. It was an accelerator. It removed all the friction and allowed him to focus 100% of his energy on learning. He passed his exam with flying colors on the first attempt. That $100 difference in the upfront cost was the difference between failure and success. It was the best investment he ever made. Don't be Alex. Your time, your energy, and your focus are your most valuable assets in this journey. Don't let a poorly designed platform steal them from you. Test drive everything you can. Sign up for every free trial. Watch every demo video. Read the App Store reviews. Scour user forums. Become an expert on the user experience before you spend a single dollar. Because the best content, the best instructors, and the best support mean absolutely nothing if the technology holding it all together is a nightmare. So now you've found a school with a killer curriculum, incredible instructors, rave reviews, and a flawless modern tech platform. You're ready. You're confident. But there's one final piece of the puzzle. The one thing that stands between you and your license. The state exam itself. All this preparation is meaningless if it doesn't translate to a passing score on test day. How do the best schools bridge that gap between learning the material and actually passing the specific, tricky, high-stakes exam for your state? They do it by transforming from a simple teaching platform into a high-performance test-taking training facility. The best online real estate schools operate on a simple, powerful principle. Knowledge is only half the battle. The other half is strategy, familiarity, and confidence under pressure. This is where the concept of an exam prep ecosystem comes into play, and it's the single biggest differentiator between a course that gets you a certificate and a course that gets you a license. The foundation of this ecosystem is the practice exam. But I'm not talking about a simple 10-question quiz at the end of a chapter. I'm talking about a robust, dynamic, and intelligent system designed to simulate the real thing. The first and most critical feature to look for is state specificity. This is non-negotiable. The real estate exam you'll take is not a generic, one-size-fits-all national test. It has two parts, a national portion and a state-specific portion. That state portion is notoriously tricky. It covers the unique laws, regulations, and statutes of your state. A school that only offers generic national practice questions is setting you up for failure. It's like studying a map of California to get your New York driver's license. You need a school that has invested the time and resources to develop a deep bank of questions that precisely mirror the topics and even the phrasing you will see on your state's exam. Next, look at the size and quality of the question bank itself. A school with only a few hundred practice questions is a major red flag. Why? Because you'll quickly exhaust them. You'll start to see the same questions over and over, and you'll begin to memorize the answers without truly understanding the concepts behind them. This creates a dangerous false sense of confidence. The elite schools have question banks with thousands of questions. This ensures that every time you take a practice test, you're being challenged with new scenarios, forcing your brain to retrieve and apply information, not just recognize a familiar sentence. But the truly cutting-edge schools take it a step further with adaptive learning technology. Think of it as a personal digital tutor. As you take practice quizzes, the system's algorithm is working in the background, analyzing your performance. It identifies your weak spots. Are you consistently struggling with questions about contracts? Do you get tripped up on fair housing laws? The system recognizes this pattern. Then, it automatically customizes future quizzes to serve you more questions on those specific topics, hammering them home until they become second nature. This is infinitely more efficient than just randomly taking tests over and over. It's targeted, intelligent practice that focuses your precious study time exactly where you need it most. And what happens when you get a question wrong? A bad course simply tells you, incorrect. A good course tells you the right answer. But a great course provides a detailed, plain English explanation for why your answer was wrong and why the correct answer is right. This is where real learning happens. Each mistake becomes a micro-lesson. The best schools will even provide the specific chapter or concept in the course material that the question relates to, so you can immediately go back and review. Without these detailed rationales, practice exams are just a measurement tool. With them, they become a powerful teaching tool. Now, let's elevate from practice exams to a full-blown exam simulation. This is the dress rehearsal for your big day. A true exam simulator doesn't just give you questions. It replicates the entire testing experience. The most important feature here is a timer. The real state exam is a race against the clock. You have a limited amount of time to answer 100 or more questions. Many brilliant students fail not because they don't know the material, but because they can't manage their time effectively under pressure. An exam simulator forces you to practice under these exact timed conditions. You learn to pace yourself, to not get bogged down on a single difficult question, and to build the mental stamina required to stay focused for several hours. The simulator should also mimic the structure and format of the actual test you'll take at a Pearson VUE or PSI testing center. It should have a similar user interface, the same navigation buttons, and the ability to flag questions for review. This might seem like a small detail, but it's psychologically huge. When you walk into the testing center on exam day, the environment will feel familiar. The computer screen in front of you will look just like the one you've been practicing on for weeks. This familiarity drastically reduces test day anxiety, allowing your brain to focus on recalling information instead of trying to figure out the software. The simulator must also allow you to take the national and state portions separately or combined, just like the real exam, and give you a detailed diagnostic report at the end. This brings us to the ultimate sign of a school's confidence in its own exam prep system: the pass guarantee. This is a game changer. A pass guarantee is a promise from the school that if you complete their program and don't pass the state licensing exam on your first attempt, they will give you your money back. Sometimes they refund the course fee, other times they'll pay for you to retake the exam. Either way, it's a massive statement. It means the school is putting their money where their mouth is. They are so certain that their curriculum, their practice questions, and their exam simulators will prepare you for success that they are willing to take on the financial risk themselves. But here's the pro tip. You must read the fine print. A pass guarantee is not always unconditional. Most schools will have requirements you need to meet to be eligible. For example, you might have to complete 100% of the course material, take a certain number of practice exams, and achieve a passing score, say 90% or higher, on their final pass readiness exam. This is perfectly reasonable. They are ensuring you've actually done the work. But be wary of schools with impossibly difficult or vague requirements. A good pass guarantee is a clear, attainable safety net that aligns the school's success directly with your own. It transforms them from a simple vendor into a true partner in your journey. Finally, the best exam prep ecosystems include a suite of supplemental resources. Look for things like digital flashcards, which are perfect for drilling key vocabulary and legal terms on your phone while you're waiting in line. Many top-tier schools also offer live, instructor-led exam prep webinars. These sessions are invaluable. You can ask questions in real time, get clarification on complex topics, and learn test-taking strategies directly from an expert who has helped hundreds of students pass. Some schools even package this all together into a dedicated exam prep, or cram course product, which is an intense, laser-focused review of only the most heavily tested material. When you put all of these pieces together, the state-specific practice questions, the adaptive learning, the detailed answer explanations, the realistic exam simulators, the pass guarantee, and the supplemental tools, you have a system that does far more than just teach you about real estate. It builds muscle memory for the exam. It dismantles test anxiety. It forges the confidence you need to walk into that testing center knowing you are not just prepared but over-prepared. This comprehensive approach is the bridge. It's how you get from completing a course to confidently passing that exam on your very first try. Now, once you have that pass slip in your hand, a whole new chapter begins. The journey isn't over. In many ways, it's just starting. Choosing the right school isn't just about passing the test. It's about setting you up for what comes next. How do the best schools help you launch your career and ensure your success in your first critical year as an agent? That question is the single most important thing you should be asking, because the moment you pass that exam, the clock starts ticking. You've got the license, but you don't have a business. You have the knowledge to be legal, but not the skills to be profitable. The vast majority of new agents fail, not because they weren't smart enough to pass the test, but because they were thrown into the deep end without learning how to swim. A great online school knows this. They don't see your graduation as the end of their obligation. They see it as the beginning of their reputation. Your success is their best marketing. So, what does elite career launching support actually look like? It's not just a PDF of tips for new agents. It's a robust ecosystem designed to bridge the massive gap between theory and practice. First, let's talk about the brokerage. Choosing your first brokerage is like choosing a family. It will define your training, your culture, your income potential, and your overall happiness. A terrible brokerage can sink a promising career before it even starts. The best schools understand this pivotal decision. They actively facilitate connections. Look for schools that host virtual broker nights or networking events where you can meet managers from various local and national brokerages. They might have partnership programs that fast-track you into interviews with pre-vetted, high-quality firms. They don't just give you a license, they give you a door to walk through, and then another and another. They provide a curated menu of options, saving you from the overwhelming and often predatory world of broker recruitment. Next is direct career guidance. Does the school offer access to career counselors? Not just tech support, but actual professionals who can help you craft a real estate resume, which is very different from a standard corporate resume. They can conduct mock interviews, helping you prepare for the tough questions a managing broker will ask. They can help you define your niche. Are you going to be the go-to agent for first-time homebuyers? Luxury condos? Investment properties? A great school has resources that force you to think like a business owner from day one, helping you build a simple business plan before you even have your first client. This is invaluable. It's the difference between starting your career with a map versus just wandering into the wilderness. But the most critical piece of post-license support is practical skills training. Your pre-licensing course taught you the law. It taught you about agency relationships, property rights, and financing instruments. It did not teach you how to get a client. It didn't teach you how to market yourself on social media. It didn't teach you how to host an open house that actually generates leads, how to navigate the multiple listing service like a pro, or how to write a compelling property description that makes people desperate to see a home. It didn't teach you the art of negotiation, the psychology of a buyer, or how to manage your time and finances as an independent contractor. The top-tier schools offer continuing education or professional development packages that cover exactly this. They have on-demand video courses titled Lead Generation for New Agents, Building Your Brand on Instagram, The Anatomy of a Perfect Listing Presentation. This is the real-world curriculum. This is the stuff that actually makes you money. A school that offers a comprehensive library of this real skills content is investing in your longevity. They're not just cashing your check for the pre-licensing course. They're building a long-term relationship, positioning themselves as your go-to educational partner for your entire career. And finally, look for a community. Does the school have a vibrant, active alumni network? A private Facebook group or forum where graduates share wins? Ask for advice and post referrals? Real estate can be a lonely business, especially when you're starting out. Being able to ask a question to a group of thousands of peers who have been in your exact shoes is a lifeline. That community becomes your support system, your referral network, and your source of motivation when you face the inevitable rejection and challenges of this industry. A school that actively cultivates this kind of community is giving you a resource that will pay dividends for years, long after you've forgotten the specific details of the statute of frauds. So when you see a school's marketing, you need to learn to read between the lines. They're all going to show you pictures of smiling, successful agents, but you need to ask how they got there. You now have the blueprint to dissect their claims. Let's put it all together. After 10 parts, after hours of analysis, what is the ultimate litmus test for choosing the right school? It's a 7-point decision matrix. Pull out a pen because this is the summary you need. Number 1. Accreditation and state approval. This is non-negotiable. Go to your state's real estate commission website. If the school isn't on that approved list, close the tab and never look back. It's a binary pass-fail test. Number 2. Format and learning style. Are you a self-paced, text-based learner who wants to power through the material at 2 a.m.? Or do you need the structure of Livestream classes and the engagement of video content? Be brutally honest with yourself. Choosing a format that fights your natural learning style is setting yourself up for failure. Number 3. Quality of instructors and support. Who is teaching you? Are they experienced agents with real-world stories, or just actors reading a script? And when you get stuck on a concept at 10 p.m., what does their support system look like? Is it a chatbot, a 48-hour email response, or can you get a real licensed instructor on the phone? Number 4. The course interface and technology. Is the platform modern, intuitive, and mobile-friendly? Or is it a clunky, outdated website from 2005? You will be spending dozens, if not hundreds, of hours on this platform. If it's frustrating to use, your learning will suffer. Demand a free trial or a demo. Number 5. Exam prep and pass rates. This is the core product. How do they prepare you for the test? Look for a variety of tools. Practice questions, time-simulated exams, digital flashcards, and readiness assessments. And ask about their pass rates, but be a skeptic. Look for transparency. Do they explain how they calculate that rate? High pass rates are great, but they must be backed by a robust and proven system. Number 6. Cost versus value. Don't just look at the sticker price. A cheap school that offers no support and poor exam prep is the most expensive mistake you can make. Analyze the total package. Does the price include the exam prep, ebooks, instructor support, and career resources? Create a spreadsheet. Compare the true all-in value, not just the headline number. And number 7, the one we just covered, post-licensing and career launch support. Don't just think about passing the test. Think about your first year in the business. Does this school provide the brokerage connections, the practical skills training, and the alumni community to ensure you don't just survive, but thrive? This 7-point matrix is your shield. It's your filter against flashy marketing and empty promises. It empowers you to move beyond the sponsored search results and make a decision that is truly right for you. Because in the end, this choice is about more than just a certificate. It's a fundamental mindset shift. You are not just studying to get a license. You are making the first major investment in your new business. You are the CEO of You Incorporated. The school you choose is your first strategic partner. They are your startup incubator. Their curriculum is your initial research and development. Their career services are your first business development team. When you start thinking this way, the choice becomes clearer. You're not looking for the easiest or the cheapest path. You're looking for the strongest foundation on which to build your future. You're looking for the launchpad that will give you the most upward momentum. You now have everything you need. You have the questions to ask, the features to look for, and the framework to make an intelligent, informed decision. The path to becoming a real estate agent is a challenging one, but it is incredibly rewarding. You have the power to build a career on your own terms, to create financial freedom, and to help people with the biggest transaction of their lives. It all starts with this one decision. So do the work, use the checklist, vet the schools, and then make your choice with confidence. We've laid out the entire blueprint for you in this series. For a detailed breakdown and our top recommendations based on this very criteria, click the link in the description below. Your future is waiting. Go build it.